You are listening to The Vocal Technologist. Spoken tech for your ears.
All right, welcome back. So if you're watching the creative world at all right now, there's this core paradox that's just impossible to ignore.
It really is.
On the one hand, you have all these tools. I mean, video editing, illustration, just general workflow stuff making execution faster and, way cheaper than it's ever been.
It's absolutely. Almost trivial in some cases.
Exactly. And yet somehow the actual process of design, it feels more complex, maybe even more high stakes.
That's the perfect way to put it. That's really the crux of what we've been looking at. We've gathered all these different observations, and the mission today is to really pull out the most important insights for you.
So we could figure out where the real value is actually going.
Yes. And the big takeaway right up front is that value is shifting entirely away from just speed. It's moving towards strategic judgment and, frankly, deep human empathy.
It's a huge shift. I mean, the conversation is no longer about if AI is coming for design. It's about how we use it strategically and ethically.
Right.
So we've kind of structured this conversation around three big themes. We'll start with what we're calling the creative tool wars, how the big players are actually using AI on the ground.
Then we'll get into the more philosophical part, what makes a designer valuable today.
And finally, we'll look at the next frontier of UX, specifically things like voice interfaces and designing for emotion. Sound good?
Let's do it.
Okay, so let's start with those big players. What I found most surprising looking at all this was the pivot toward just pragmatism. The AI stuff isn't just flashy demos anymore.
No, not at all. They're focused on solving real day-to-day friction points for creators.
Like with Adobe.
Exactly. Take Adobe. They're laser-focused on that end-to-end creator workflow. For video, Premiere Mobile now integrates directly with YouTube Shorts.
So you can edit and publish right inside of YouTube.
Right within YouTube. It just cuts out all those tedious handoff steps that used to absolutely kill your momentum.
It's not just about connecting to other platforms. It's the internal tools getting smarter, too. I saw stuff like the AI object mask.
Oh, yeah. That simplifies tasks that used to be incredibly tedious. Plus, you can see they've learned from competitors like CapCut.
So?
Well, by rolling out a free mobile app, they're deliberately lowering the barrier to entry. They want to grab that next generation of creators.
Smart. Meanwhile, you have Canva, and they're not just thinking about tools, they're thinking about owning the entire business workflow.
Oh, absolutely. They've rebranded their whole visual suite as a creative operating system.
Which sounds a little bit like marketing jargon, but what does it actually mean?
It's basically a proprietary AI-powered workspace that's aimed squarely at, say, small businesses and marketing teams.
And it looks like they're trying to lock you in. I mean, all these new features, the video editor, Canva Grow for ads, that no-code email design product, it's all bundled.
It is. It's all bundled into these unified subscriptions. You can't just pick and choose. You're buying into the whole ecosystem, end-to-end, no escape.
And then you have the third approach, which is Meta and Instagram, just going for sheer mass adoption.
Total mass adoption. Users can now add, remove, change things in their photos and videos right in Instagram stories.
Using that REST-style menu with text prompts.
Yeah, simple text prompts. It's AI delivered directly to hundreds of millions of people who use it every single day.
Okay, so that's super convenient, but convenience always has a cost. What's the trade-off here?
Yeah.
The terms of service must have something interesting in them.
That's the crucial detail. It's the price of admission. To use that REST-style feature, you have to accept Meta's AI terms of service.
And let me guess.
And that permits them to analyze your uploaded media, and it specifically calls out facial features to train their models.
Wow. So that level of data capture, just for a simple filter, that's the new reality designers have to think about.
It is, and that brings us right to the legal battles that are heating up around training data. The creative industries are finally starting to push back.
Right. I saw the story about the anime studios.
A huge one. Japanese anime studios formally requested that OpenAI stop using their copyrighted work. This was right after that whole Ghiblifying photo trend got popular.
And the argument is that the AI models were basically replicating that famous Ghibli style, that yellowish tone.
Exactly. An aesthetic that took decades of human labor to develop, now just sort of stripped for parts.
The law is just, it's not keeping up with the tech, is it?
Not even close. And even when we get a ruling, it kind of avoids the main question. Stability AI won a case against Getty Images in the UK recently.
Right.
But the judge completely sidestepped the core issue. Do AI models need permission to use copyrighted material for training? So for now, we're just in this legal limbo while the tools keep shipping.
So all this legal risk, all this ambiguity about the source of a design,
Yeah,
it leads perfectly to that bigger, more philosophical question, doesn't it?
it has to.
If AI is taking over how the execution, where does the human value for designer actually lie now?
Well, the core value gets elevated. It moves up to taste. Yes. It's no longer about how fast you can make 10 different versions of a button. It's about the strategic judgment to know what will actually resonate with people. It's about knowing which problems are even worth solving to begin with.
That makes sense, but it completely changes the conversation around skills. We're always debating, should designers code? Should developers design?
And our look into this suggests that's just the wrong fight. That's not the real issue. The bottleneck isn't a lack of shared skills, it's poorly structured collaboration.
You mean like when teams work in a rigid pipeline? A handoff model?
That's it. That's where things fail. It shouldn't be a pipeline, it should be a cohesive network.
That sounds like a management dream. I mean, in reality, most teams, probably even some people listening here on The Vocal Technologist, are still built on some kind of handoff. Are you saying they're fundamentally doomed in this new era?
Huh? Doomed might be a bit strong, but they're definitely inefficient. Look, you don't need a team of hybrid generalists. You need specialists, clear roles like UX versus UI, logic-focused developers versus view-focused ones who just understand the adjacent disciplines and work together. It's about integration, not everyone doing everything.
And the tools themselves kind of reinforce that need for human judgment, right?
Right.
The AI prototyping tools are great for early ideas, but they always miss something.
They miss the nuance. The subtle things like visual hierarchy, proper spacing, all the little details that separate a polished design from something that's just functional.
Which creates this weird paradox.
It does. If you don't have strong design fundamentals, the AI tool actually limits your imagination because you're constrained by what it can technically do. To use AI well, you have to have deep design knowledge to ask the right questions in the first place.
So if AI is handling the solution generation part, where should a designer focus their most valuable energy?
It has to be on problem framing. This is the absolute key. This is where the value is now.
Resisting the urge to just jump to an answer.
Exactly. Our cognitive biases always push us toward premature solutions. Effective framing is about defining the right problem with absolute clarity. Then you can take all those AI outputs and turn them from noise into something genuinely useful. That act of transformation, that's the new currency for a designer.
Okay, so if we connect that need for empathy and taste to the actual user experience, we can move beyond just screens. UX is breaking out into all these new forms.
It really is. Voice and immersive interfaces, they've gone from being a novelty to an absolute necessity. Think about healthcare, cars, smart homes.
We're talking about millions and millions of devices.
Hundreds of millions globally.
Yeah.
And what's fascinating is how old design principles still apply. The goal is always minimizing the effort between what a user wants to do and the system's response.
That's Fitts' law, basically.
Exactly. It informs everything from where you put buttons on a phone screen to how responsive a voice assistant needs to feel. You're always trying to shrink that gap between intent and action.
But that speed, that seamlessness, it creates a new kind of danger, doesn't it? This idea of designing for omniscience.
Oh, it's a huge danger. It's when you build a system that just assumes the user is an expert, that they know everything. So it gives them no warnings, no feedback, no safeguards.
And this causes real-world harm, not just a bit of frustration. We saw examples like healthcare portals that just silently fail at payment.
Or financial apps that let you transfer a huge sum of money without a single confirmation step.
The system has to have empathy built in. It has to understand context to prevent those kinds of catastrophic errors. It can't assume a perfect user.
Precisely. And that's why emotional design is so critical now. It's not optional. It operates on 3 levels, right? There's the visceral gut reaction.
The look and feel.
Then the behavioral, which is all about usability. And finally, the reflective layer, which is about building confidence and long-term trust.
And AI can actually amplify that. It can create these hyper-personalized experiences that might adapt to a user's emotional state in real time.
That's the goal. The ultimate measure of success is authentic human connection. You create an intuitive interface by adapting to the user, not the other way around. You build clarity, which builds confidence.
Okay, let's switch gears a bit and talk about branding. When the whole world is shifting this fast, how does a brand stay relevant?
We've seen some pretty big cultural moments recently.
We have, and Affinity's rebrand is a perfect example of getting it right.
This was after they were acquired by Canva.
Yes, but they kept their independence. And their new identity, that lowercase serif logo, the custom typeface, that really tactile color palette with the lime green, is just brilliant.
It positions them as, what, Canva's more refined sibling.
Exactly. Refined but still expressive. It says precision with personality.
It's a tough balance. And then you have the less successful changes. Apple's new 3D logo for Apple One. That caused an uproar.
It really did. People called it ugly, childish, these stacked, colorful, wooden block-looking things.
I mean, some people defended it as a kind of harmless retro throwback, but the critics were loud. Very loud. And you saw a similar thing with PepsiCo's new logo, their first in 25 years. The reaction was largely just underwhelmed. People felt it was overly complicated, even though it was trying to communicate all their big sustainability goals.
So what's the bigger lesson here? Is the design just objectively bad, or is there something else going on with these backlashes?
I think it's almost never just about the design quality itself. These things reflect a deeper societal fatigue, maybe even polarization.
So when everything feels like it's changing constantly, even a small logo update can feel unsettling, like a loss of stability.
I think so. It means that culturally aware, emotionally intelligent design is now absolutely crucial just to maintain public trust.
Which brings us right back around to where we started. Strategic judgment. We've really mapped out a major shift here, from fighting for space on a screen to fighting for clarity and conviction in the sea of easy AI-generated stuff.
The biggest challenge for any creative professional right now, it isn't learning a new tool. It's not even mastering prompt engineering. It's refining your taste and developing the conviction to define why a specific solution will work, especially when AI makes the how almost trivial. The craft of knowing is what matters now.
That's a phenomenal insight. So here's a thought for you to take with you as you look at your next project. If the traditional UX process is by nature messy and iterative, and if our systems really must adapt to users instead of forcing users to adapt to them, what one assumption about your current product or your design workflow are you willing to break today to prioritize that empathy over pure efficiency? See you next time.
Spoken Tech for your ears.